practical session on past tense. This is the practical exercise to show our understanding of the teaching that we've done. If you missed that, please get back to that and go there. We say past tense talks about event or activity that happened at a definite time in the past. Definite time. That's why you can see a few minutes ago, last week, last year, last month, in 1998, in 1992, yesterday, a few days back, and so on and so forth. So when you see that that's a definite time in the past, that's when we use past tense. We're going to have a practical session part 2. If you missed that part 1, please refer to that and follow us. Now remember what you've been doing. You are going to take your exercise book on this particular channel that you are using for English. Copy out the questions that you see on the board. Provide answers, underline the answers that you feel should be the answers, and come back to the session as we do that. Past tense. Now number 1, Michael gone, went home a few minutes ago. Remember, a few minutes ago, definite time in the past. So what are you going to do? Michael went home a few minutes ago. Went a few minutes ago. Number 2, my brothers swung the kite last week. What are you going to put there? Past tense of swing. Swung. Okay? Swung. Last week, past tense, swung. Number 3. My last year Rufus shaking hands with the United Nations boss, with the UN boss. Last year, what are you going to put there? Rufus shook hands with the United Nations boss. Number 4, sorrow no more. The Lord, last year, what are you going to do? Rose, risen. The Lord rose up last year. Rose last year. Okay? Number 5, last month, Haruna always, remember last month, definite time in the past. Haruna always mistook me for George. Haruna, last month, Haruna mistook me for George. Number 6, in 1991, definite time in the past, I known him as a good pal, as a good friend. In 1991, I knew him as a good friend. Number 7, yesterday, Fanta wrote a similar letter to my uncle. Yesterday, definite time in the past, wrote a similar letter to my uncle. Yesterday. Number 8, Kamara drink Russian vodka a decade ago. Definite time in the past. What are you going to put? Drank Russian vodka a decade ago. Kamara drank Russian vodka a decade ago. Number 9, a few days back, definite time in the past, John given the manager a handshake. John gave the manager a handshake. Number 10, you began your success story in the 30s. Definite time in the past. What are you going to put here? Began. You began your success story in the 30s. Number 11, we come, a long way 4 months ago. 4 months ago, a definite time in the past. What are you going to put there? We came a long way 4 months ago. Number 12, last week, she forgot, all I did for her. Last week, what are you going to put here? forgot all I did for her. All I did for her. Let's revise what we have done to see how we've been able to fare. Michael went home a few minutes ago. Michael went home. Number 2, my brothers swung the kite last week. Swung, past tense of swing. Last year, Rufus shook hands with the United Nations boss, with the UN boss. Last year, shook. Definite time in the past. Sorrow no more. The Lord up last year. The Lord rose up last year. Last year rose. Last month, Haruna always mistook me for George. Mistook. Last month. Definite time in the past. Past tense. In 1991, I knew him as a good pal. 1991, I knew him as a good pal. Number 7. Yesterday, Fanta wrote a similar letter to my uncle. Tamara drank Russian vodka a decade ago, definite time in the past. Drank. A few days back, John gave the manager a handshake. A few days ago, gave. You began your success story in the 30s. Began. We came a long way 4 months ago. 4 months ago, came. 4 months ago, definite time in the past tense, came. Last week, she forgot all I did for her. Last week, forgot. And that's how we use this practical exercise to test our understanding on past tense. Practical exercise on the use of past tense. If you like our video, share, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up. Please share, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up.